Hello my dear students, good morning to you all. So in this session, I am going to start explaining about Raman spectroscopy. So under chemistry paper 6, unit 1, chapter 1.2, we are going to deal with Raman spectroscopy. And in this, we have elementary account, that is theory and explanation, polarizability, ellipsoid and interaction with radiation, instrumentation of Raman spectroscopy, spectrum, that is Raman spectrum, in that Stokes and anti-Stokes lines, rotational and vibrational Raman spectra, selection rules and advantages of Raman spectroscopy. So this is all the concepts what we are going to study in this chapter 1.2 Raman spectroscopy. So Raman spectroscopy deals with the scattering of light and not with its absorption. So this is the main thing what we are going to observe here. Unless and unlike other spectroscopic techniques, so the Raman spectroscopy deals only with the scattering of light and not with its absorption. Whereas, so the other vibrational or rotational or general spectroscopic techniques, it deals with or gives us the information about the absorption. So how much of the light has been absorbed or how much of light is transmitted. So all these things are taken into consideration. Whereas in case of Raman spectroscopy, so we deal with only the scattering of light and not with its absorption. And Raman spectroscopy is based on Raman effect. So what is meant by Raman effect? So before understanding that, so let us have a brief introduction about the man who is behind this Raman spectroscopy. So as we all know, we are very proud to say that, so C.V. Raman, he is the man who is behind the discovery of Raman spectroscopy. In the year 1928, C.V. Raman discovered the inelastic scattering of photons from the molecules such that they are excited to higher levels known as Raman scattering or Raman effect. So Raman effect is the phenomenon in which the frequency of scattered light from a sample is different from the frequency of incident radiation. So he also got or he was awarded the Nobel Prize for Physics in the year 1930. So his full name is Sir Chandrasekhara Venkata Raman. So he worked on the scattering of light, and for the discovery of the effect, the name came after him, so that is Raman effect or Raman spectroscopy. Raman scattering produces scattered photons with a different frequency, which is dependent on the source as well as on the vibrational and rotational properties of the scattered molecules. Raman spectroscopy is based on Raman scattering, which is used to study the materials by chemists and physicists. So usually in olden days, so we were using mercury lamp or a photographic plates were used to produce a radiation. Whereas in modern days, lasers are used. We are going to use lasers. So what is meant by Raman scattering? Raman scattering is defined as the scattering of photons by the excited molecules that are at higher energy levels. It is also known as Raman effect. The photons are inelastically scattered, which means that the kinetic energy of an incident particle is either lost or increased and is composed of Stokes and anti-Stokes portions. So we will understand what is meant by Stokes and anti-Stokes in the next classes. So now let us understand the theory of Raman spectroscopy. When a beam of monochromatic radiation passes through a transparent medium, the photons of energy, that is h nu, we all know that. So we measure the energy of the photon as h nu, where h is a Planck's constant and nu will be the frequency of that particular photon. When a photon of certain energy, say for example h nu, collide with the molecules of the medium and a part of light is scattered. So this is what happens. So this is a general phenomenon. When a radiation or when a photon falls on any object or a substance, so the light is going to get scattered. So the scattered light is measured at right angles. So we are going to measure the scattered radiations. So that is why I said Raman spectroscopy deals with the scattering of light and not with its absorption. We are concerned with so how far or in what way the radiation has been scattered. So to understand this, so we have to consider two different cases. Okay, so this is what I explained just now, theory of Raman spectroscopy, and this is a typical diagram which shows us that when a beam of monochromatic radiation passes through a transparent medium, the photons of energy h nu collide with the molecules of the medium and a part of light is scattered, and the scattered light is measured at right angles. Now we will see what are the two different cases to understand the theory of Raman spectroscopy. So case 1 is Rayleigh scattering. So most of the collisions are perfectly elastic. Hence, the scattered photons will have same frequency and same energy as that of incident light. So such a scattering is called as Rayleigh scattering. I repeat, if the collision is elastic, then the scattered photons will have same frequency and same energy as that of incident light, and such a scattering is called Rayleigh scattering. And the second one is Raman scattering. Suppose if the collision is inelastic, then the scattered light will have photons of lower or higher energy and frequency than the incident photon, and such a scattering is called as Raman scattering. So this is very important in Raman spectroscopy. So what is meant by Rayleigh scattering and what is meant by Raman scattering? So let us have a brief explanation on the theory of Raman spectroscopy. Let us consider the first case, that is Rayleigh scattering. When the photon collides with the molecule gets excited to higher energy state from ground state. When the molecule returns to the same ground state, the scattered photons have same frequency as that of incident photon. This is called as Rayleigh scattering, as just now we have discussed. And this is a typical diagram which shows the Rayleigh scattering. So in this, see if you can see or observe this. So here a light radiation, let me call it as a photon, it is having certain amount of energy which I have called as h nu naught. So this is the ground state, so that is why E naught, so the energy is 0 here. So that means so this is the ground state. So from here it is going to excite to the virtual state. So to excite to the virtual state, it should has certain amount of energy, whereas it will not stay in that virtual state for a long time. It has to return back to the ground state. So here, according to the Rayleigh scattering, we have to observe that. So here the molecule which absorbs energy and gets excited to higher energy state from ground state, and the molecule while returning to the same ground state, so the scattered photons will have the same frequency and energy as that of incident photon. So that is why here typically I have represented it as in the same distance or same color. That means so the incident radiation, so what sort of energy it is having, the same sort of energy and frequency the reflected or rejected light or radiation also is having. And this is the Rayleigh scattering. And the another representation what I have made here, so this is the Stokes scattering or anti-Stokes scattering, which we call it as Raman scattering. So just like how I told in the beginning of this class, so the Raman scattering, it depends upon when the incident photon collides with the molecule, the molecule gets excited to a higher energy state from the ground state. If the molecule returns to a higher energy state and not to ground state, the energy of scattered photon will be less than the incident photon. A series of equally spaced lines are obtained at lower frequency than the Rayleigh lines. So these are called Stokes lines in Raman spectroscopy. When the incident photon collides with the molecule absorbs energy and gets excited from a higher energy state to a still higher energy state. If the molecule directly returns to ground state, the scattered photon will have higher energy or higher frequency than the incident photon. So this is measured in Raman spectroscopy. So what is the energy and frequency of incident photons and scattered photons? So the scattered photons will usually have the higher energy or higher frequency than the incident photon in case of Stokes. A series of equally spaced lines are obtained at the higher frequency than the Rayleigh lines, and these lines are called anti-Stokes lines in Raman spectroscopy. The Stokes and anti-Stokes lines are obtained at equal distances on either side of Rayleigh scattering. So this is the figure which shows that Rayleigh scattering and Raman scattering. So in case of Rayleigh scattering, so as I said just now, so the incident radiation or incident photon will have lesser energy than the ejected or scattered photon. So that is why, so if you observe here, so the energy and frequency of this photon is lesser than the scattered photon. So here the scattered photon has got much more energy and it has got more frequency than compared to the incident photon. So that is why, so it is called as anti-Stokes lines in case of Raman scattering. Whereas if the incident photon has got higher frequency and higher energy than compared to the scattered photon, so then it is called as Stokes lines or Raman scattering. So next, let us move on to the intensity of Stokes and anti-Stokes lines. Rayleigh lines are highly intense because the excitation of molecule occurs from ground state, which is highly populated, and the molecule returns to the ground state itself. So this is a representation of Rayleigh scattering. So here we can observe the lower intensity than the Rayleigh lines. So that is why this is termed as Stokes lines. Stokes lines are less intense than Rayleigh lines, but more intense than the anti-Stokes lines. Stokes lines are obtained by the excitation from highly populated ground state, but the molecule does not return to ground state. Hence, the intensity is less than Rayleigh lines. Anti-Stokes lines are least intense because the excitation of molecules occurs from an excited state which is less populated. So it depends upon how much of photons are present. So how much of photon is falling on a substance or a matter, and in what number the scattering is going to take place. So that is why when it is less populated, so anti-Stokes lines are less or least intense. So this is because the excitation of molecules occurs from an excited state. So what is meant by Raman shift? So before going to that, so let us briefly summarize the intensity of Stokes and anti-Stokes lines. So when the incident photon collides with the molecule gets excited from a higher energy state to a still higher energy state. If the molecule directly returns to ground state, the scattered photon will have higher energy or higher frequency than the incident photon. A series of equally spaced lines are obtained at a higher frequency than the Rayleigh lines, and these lines are called anti-Stokes lines in Raman spectroscopy. Next is about Raman shift. What is meant by Raman shift? So Raman shift is the difference in frequency or wave number between the incident and scattered light. So the mathematical expression of Raman shift can be given as Raman shift is equals to delta nu, that is difference in the frequency or wave number is equals to delta nu is equals to nu minus nu dash, where nu is the frequency of incident light and nu dash is the frequency of scattered light. So in terms of wave number, Raman shift is equals to delta nu bar, which is equals to nu bar minus nu bar dash, where the nu bar is the wave number of incident light, or it is also termed as 1 divided by lambda, or wave number nu dash is the scattered light. It is the wave number of a scattered light, and it is represented or denoted as 1 divided by lambda dash. So based on this Raman shift, so we have a simple problem here. So the problem says that a sample was excited by 4360 Armstrong line of mercury, and if the wavelength of Raman line observed was 4447 Armstrong, calculate the Raman shift in centimeter inverse. Calculate wavelength at which the anti-Stokes lines of Raman spectrum would be observed. So now let us write down what and all the given information is there in the problem. So they have given the wavelength lambda. So wavelength is 4360 Armstrong. That means 4360 into 10 raised to minus 8 centimeters, and lambda dash, so that is observed wavelength, is equals to 4447 Armstrong, that is 4447 into 10 raised to minus 8 centimeters. And we know that according to the Raman shift, what we have discussed just now, so the Raman effect, which is expressed in terms of wave number, is given by, so delta nu bar, which is equals to 1 divided by lambda minus 1 divided by lambda dash. So we have the value of lambda and lambda dash. Substitute that value in the place of lambda and lambda dash. So we are going to get 448.7 centimeter inverse. So now he has asked us to calculate the difference in the wavelength, that is delta lambda. So delta lambda is equals to, we have lambda and lambda dash. So that is 4447 minus 4360, which is equals to 87 Armstrong. Therefore, the wavelength of anti-Stokes, wavelength at which the anti-Stokes lines of Raman spectrum would be observed, is equals to 4360 minus 87, which is equals to 4273 Armstrong, or it can be represented in centimeters as 4273 into 10 raised to minus 8 centimeters. So this is how we are going to use the Raman shift to calculate the Raman shift in centimeters, and also to calculate the wavelength at which the anti-Stokes line of Raman spectrum would be observed. So here we have to make 3 note, that is the anti-Stokes lines appears at a frequency higher than the Rayleigh lines, which is same as the frequency by which Stokes lines are lesser than Rayleigh lines. And the second note is frequency of Stokes lines is less than Rayleigh lines, therefore wavelength of Stokes lines is greater than Rayleigh lines. And the third note is frequency of anti-Stokes line is greater than Rayleigh lines by the same amount as Stokes lines. Therefore, wavelength of anti-Stokes line is less than Rayleigh line by the same amount as Stokes lines. So these are the 3 important notes which we can make by solving or understanding the problem which I have discussed just now. So I am going to stop it here, and in my next class, so let us understand about polarizability and Raman spectrum, that is classical theory. Thank you, dear students.